All right, here we go. We are live. Whoa. Welcome to Ask Aries. As always, I am Aries Edge. We are on the 2 clicks from KO YouTube page. If you don't mind, I'm going to try and something real fast before we get this thing rolling. I got to share this so people can find the damn thing and we can go from there. All right. And of course, there we go. And we've got this. And there it is. And we've got this. Oh, there it is. How do I? Uh-oh. 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 Oh, man, we had ourselves a little inception there for a second. It was echoing back and forth. Well, all right, so we're talking about uh, Heroclix World Championships. It just happened this weekend at Graceland in Memphis, Tennessee. It was a fantastic time. If you did not go there to it, you should next year. Excuse me, as I'm just trying to get some stuff moving along here. Moving along. So, of course, it was in Memphis, Tennessee, at the at Graceland. Lodging was at the guest house at Graceland. It was a brand new exhibition hall, and it was fantastic. I cannot say enough good things. It was definitely more than we deserved because it was a fantastic hotel. Um, Everything was smooth getting there. 10-minute drive from the airport. They had shuttle service. All you had to do was call the guest house at Graceland, and they were more than happy to send out a shuttle to get you. And you go from there. So when you arrive, you are basically overwhelmed. You walk up to this humongous hotel, and as soon as you walk in, there is this big, huge opening into an atrium where a lot of the times people were sitting and hanging out, just lounging, drinking, whatever the case may be, and just talking clicks or just talking whatever. So you walk in, you check in. Everybody there was very nice. They gave you your TCB packages, which included the Raven Bombshell con exclusive, the Storm con exclusive, a random 2018 con exclusive, a free Battle Royal ticket, and it also gave you a tour of Elvis's house and of his museums and things at Graceland. All in all, that package was probably worth, if you're looking at retail after the fact, probably close to, I don't know, $200 or $300. Got it for $50. So you go up to your rooms. Rooms are gorgeous. Best shower. I've gorgeous showers. They had the rainfall head on it, and then another one that it was just so much stuff. Don't mind all of the pillows and such up there. So, hotel was amazing. They had live bands and entertainment every night. There was a pool and a hot tub that closed at 10 o'clock. Very spacious. There was a couple of areas where there was like meeting rooms, and there was like another little area, atrium, that myself, Team Pusheen, the Canadians, Married with Clicks, all of them, and 4 Points Gaming, and so on and so forth, all rotated through as we were playing games downstairs. On top of that, every night they gave away free peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and it was just like a normal peanut butter and jelly. They had some pre-made, but then they had a whole peanut butter and jelly bar where you could literally go there and you could just make your own peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. 2 different kinds of peanut butter, crunchy and smooth, different kinds of bread. They had grape jelly. They had strawberry jelly. They had marshmallows, the big ones and the small ones. They had chocolate chips, M&Ms, bananas. They had milk for you to drink with it, and it was all free. It was all complimentary, and it was fantastic. Tomorrow. So on top of that, I roomed with Jeremy Walters and Tom Kerr from Canada. It was an awesome time. Uh, Jeremy was a little under the weather, we'll say, for the first night, and then after that, it was pretty. It was pretty fantastic. So, first day, everything was pretty smooth. I think they had something like 70 teams in Team Worlds. I played like hot dog crap. I went 0-3 with 0 victory points because I don't think I rolled above a 4 the entire time. My first matchup was against Scott Crampton, as myself, Kenji, and Jason from Team Pusheen were faced off against 4 Points Gaming, where it was Isaac and Scott. I believe Mike, and yeah, didn't go very well for me. And then I forget who our second round opponents were, but I lost again. And then the third round opponents was myself versus Jay Major, as you guys probably saw on Heroclix International Exchange. We both sat down at the table, and I said, "Hey, man, so how did you end up here?" And he goes, "I'm 0-2 with no victory points." And I said, "You know what? I'm 0-2 with no victory points. You know what that means? One of us is going to have to win and actually get some victory points." So it just, I was playing 175 point Phoenix, the Rachel Summers Phoenix. I was playing 75 point Cable, who could free telekinesis. And I was playing 50 point Wolverine. So if this Wolverine is, I think, within 3 squares, he takes away your opponent's abilities to use shape change and stealth. So obviously you get Wolverine out there to tie some people up. You take away their stealth or their shape change, and then you can go ahead and make range attacks with Phoenix and with Cable. And I then proceeded to miss about 150 to 200 attacks, roughly, give or take. I don't know, 50 to 100. And it was brutal. There was one stretch where J Major finally KO'd one of my 50-point Wolverine, and I had his Nimrod reeling. For those that don't know what Nimrod does, basically, when you roll an attack roll against Nimrod, if you hit, your opponent rolls 2d6 as well. If his d6 are equal to or higher than your attack roll, he evades the attack, and then he deals your printed damage back to you. I had Nimrod pretty low on his dial. I rolled an 8 and hit, and then, of course, J Major rolled an 8 and hit as well, sending the damage back to me. The next turn, I pushed because I had Power Cosmic. I rolled an 8 to hit his Nimrod. He rolled an 8 to deal the damage back to me. Outstanding. I missed a free attack with Cable. I missed a regular attack with Cable. Next turn, I Colossal Stamina pushed because I was on Pulse Wave, so I didn't have to worry about his stupid ability to send the damage back to me. I think I needed an 8 again, and then I proceeded to not roll above a 6 for the rest of the game until time was called. And then, so between myself and J Major, we went 1-5 with 50 victory points, and those 50 victory points were, of course, the ones that I just happened to give to him. So that's where we were. I then went on to play in the last chance qualifier. I played against Devin Adams, who was trying out his side event team, which was a cosmic theme team +5. He was playing 3 of the Starfires. He was playing the new Lockjaw that allows you to carry people, and if they're not themed, he takes damage. He was playing 2 Mudmen, and he was also playing Unseen. So we both had +5 theme teams. So it's a straight roll up for the map. He rolled a 3 and asked me, "Hey, do you think you can beat that?" I then proceeded to roll a critical hit and said, "No, I can't. Go ahead and pick map." Fun matchup. We went back and forth. I was able to poison and outlast his Mudmen. He did take some stuff off of the board on me, with Quake with the Mudmen, but it boiled down to was I was able to outlast a little bit with Black Adam, and was able to take some of those tokens off the Mudmen with poison and things like that. Second matchup was against Alexis from Mexico. Again, I had a +5 theme team. He was running a Vulture team, and I rolled a 4 to make my roll a 9 for map, and then he proceeded to roll an 11, and then took me to I think it was the Great Mound, and I couldn't do anything. He misplayed at one point in time with his Vulture team by not perplexing everything that he should have with the Big Tonys and the Everett K. Rosses, but still was able to just go ahead and have his way with my team. My Black Adam was knocked onto his Heroclix, so I had 2 opportunities to flurry and steal energy, missed both of them, called in a Jean Grey with Daredevil just to be able to have 2 more attacks to try and do something, missed both of those attacks, the free object attack, and then just a normal attack, and that went down the garbage. And then I played Ethos Black. As many of you have seen him on the HIE as well. He was playing an X-Men themed team. I actually won map this time around. And if you can see in one of his posts, we talked about that team. Even he said, I didn't feel right about winning that matchup because I completely, again, shit the bed, rolling dice. So that was my first day, pretty defeated, and was just ready to go back to the hotel and get in the hot tub, and then realized that it was past 10 o'clock and couldn't get in the hot tub. So I just took a shower and went to bed. Next day was Worlds. Actually, who won Team Worlds? It was, I believe, Phoenix Next Ronin, which was Adam Friedman, George Massow, and then some schlub named Matty G. So congrats to those guys. 3 outstanding players. Ran the gauntlet right down to the end. I believe they played a Clixman team, and it was Dustin Cedars, Caleb, and Micah Love. So for anybody who was saying that Micah, and I'm probably one of those guys too, that's saying that Micah was only a Shredders player, and after Shredders would retire, he would have a hard time adapting and this and that, is 100% untrue. Micah held his own all weekend, placing second in Team Worlds, and I believe he also placed top 32, top 16. I think top 16. I think he lost to Dan Powell in the round of 16. So Micah right there in the top cut both days. Good for him. Outstanding showing. I'm not going to break down all of the gameplay and everything. There's plenty of information on Facebook and in the interwebs about the breakdowns of games and everything. Isaac is a Triple Crown champion. He has now won a national championship, a world championship, a Rock Cup championship. I think he's even won a couple team events in there as well. He's 14 years old. He's definitely the truth. Shout out to whatever the person was who made just some ignorant comment about, oh man, I hope his family has him up on comic book lore and the figure he makes doesn't suck. Well, Isaac has forgotten more about this game than I think a lot of people will ever know. So you can, I'm going to put it right out there right now. I can guarantee you the figure that Isaac makes with his world championship will be amazing, and it will play very well in the meta. So I am looking forward to seeing what this mad genius can make, this 14-year-old mad genius of Heroclix can make with his world championship win. So again, day 2, and now, so to break down how it was laid out. So you get to the guest house, and across the street, up a ways, is the actual exhibition center. It's a brand new exhibition center. They had a whole, I guess I could say it was kind of like a pop-up museum type thing dedicated to Muhammad Ali and stuff in one of the exhibit halls. On the other end of the exhibit hall was the exhibit area designated just for Heroclix Worlds. It was laid out smooth. You didn't find yourself banging into everybody and smashing into everybody. You were able to find your tables easily. You were able to get in and out of the rows easily. It wasn't like last year at PAX where you had the huge, long vertical running tables, and if you were in the middle, you were just smashing into 100 people to try and get to your seat. That I know for a fact was not on WizKids, and the layout of that was not. What's going on, Aaron? Good to see you. That layout was not on WizKids. There was some stuff behind the scenes, I guess, with PAX and about the layout of the actual tables. So the flow of everything at Worlds was outstanding. They tried to get people in as fast as they could and get them checked in, registered, everything. They had everything on 2 different sides. So if you wanted con exclusive stuff, you were going to the left and lining up on that wall. If you wanted to register for battle royals or whatever, you were to the right on that side. So there was no real bottlenecking in just like the middle of everything. It was laid out flawlessly, in my opinion. There wasn't ever a time where you were confused or running around in circles or anything like that, trying to find where your tables were. And they had them laid out by color. So the red tables was your world championships, your team world championships, so on and so forth. Your black tables with the black tablecloth on them were for battle royals. They then had, I think, yellow tablecloths for your dice masters, and then all the way on the right-hand side wall were the squared off tables that they were using for attack wing. They did break down Married with Clicks. If you can check the WizKids site, they went on and they got to break down the Mix Max Challenge, which is giving us a new ring. Go check that out on the WizKids website. They also did the Fan Appreciation Day. I did not get to see it because I was in the middle of trying to last chance my way into Worlds and rolling like a dog crap. So I was able to check out some of the pictures on Facebook. And what it looks like is the Justice League, the animated Justice League set looks amazing. There wasn't a bad sculpt. There wasn't a bad figure on there. Everything looked good. They're putting out another Captain America set. There was a Falcon Captain America that looked very similar to, I think, like one of the Avengers Assembled ones, where it's him with the wings and then grabbing a shield. There were some new sculpts and some new looking stuff in there, but again, it looked like there was Maria Hill and there was a classic Nick Fury and things like that. I'm hoping that there's going to be more to that set, that it's still in the early stages and that they're just showing us the things that they know are confirmed in it, but there's still going to be some sort of a sub theme that will get people. What was Absolute Carnage? Oh, the Spider-Man set. Yes, they didn't really have much about that though. They kind of just showed you like some rough drafts of some stuff, and that there's going to be a Spider-Man set. So they didn't have anything. I don't think they had dials or actual sculpts. It was just kind of concept art at the time. So that set does look awesome. The DC set looked awesome from what I saw from the pictures. So also too, in the exhibition hall, they had a food court in there. You could tell that they were not ready for entertain you. Just listen, bro. I'm doing the best I can. Ask questions. You got to be engaging too. Can't just be me yakety schmacketying at you. So yeah. So the exhibition hall definitely was not ready for the amount of people that was coming in for Heroclix Worlds, because after day one, there was one particular food stand, I guess, like a little vendor that I would go to, and they had like a pulled pork sandwich, they had a ham, like a cheeseburger, they had like just kind of stuff like that, and they were out of pulled pork by day one, completely gone, poof, gone. Yes, the Darkseid and the Brainiac looked amazing. The Martian Manhunter looked really good. Oh God, I'm trying to think of what else I saw. The Jon Stewart looked awesome, very much right out of the cartoon, the animated series. The whole set looks outstanding. So they were out, but what you could do while you were there, and I think they're probably going to do this every single year. It's something that's put on by the exhibition hall. You could buy a souvenir plastic cup for $13, and then you could refill that thing. It's Darkseid or Dark Side. I have no idea. I've heard him called Dark Side. I've heard him called Darkseid. I don't, to be honest with you. And now he says sewed. Seed, side, sewed, whatever. Dark Side is what I'll always call him. If it's Darkseid, I don't know. Dark Side, Darkseid, whatever. He's a badass. So you go to the exhibition hall. You get your 2019 Elvis commemorative plastic cup. It had a little handle on it. I wish I had it with me right now. It's down in the sink. But you could refill that as many times as you wanted. So I think a normal beverage there is going for $3. So if you fill that thing up 4 times, you basically have already paid for the cup itself. I was filling that thing 5, 6, 7, 8 times a day because it was warm. You have all the people next to each other, body heat, this and that. I can also say for a fact, there was not. Thank you for the new subscriber, Scott D'Agostino. I can say for a fact there wasn't that much funk. Sometimes that we can go to like big conventions, and sometimes we've talked about it on the podcast many a time. Uh, you have to wear antiperspirant, and you have to brush your teeth, and you have to, wear deodorant, and so on and so forth. I think we did a good job. I think we did a good job this time around, Heroclixers and everyone. So, yay to us. That cut down on some of the funk sometimes you can get. Battle royals. Big shout outs to all of the volunteers. I know I'm gonna miss names, so I apologize if I miss yours. But shout outs to people like Brian Galley, Jay Solomon, Rob Peterson, and Jeremiah Peterson, Julius, Aaron, Sheezy there, Brandon Chastain, anybody and everybody who volunteered their time that they didn't get to actually play HeroClix. And they were there judging and running over to get judgments done, and they were putting together pods quickly for battle royals and getting product out and making sure that everybody was taken care of. I never had one bad battle royal where I was left waiting and waiting and waiting. They were smooth. They went off without a hitch. You weren't waiting for 15, 20, 25 minutes for there to be a pod. We got 12 people quick. Boom. They'd sit us all down. You'd have 3 maps on the table. Boom, boom, boom. Here you go. Here's your boosters. You have 1 hour starting now to build your team and play. Go. And it was fantastic. Literally. And then as soon as you were done, you could walk right up. They processed you fast through the line, put your name down, give me your card. That was the other thing, too. In past places, it was only cash. This year, they did cash or credit card. It was amazing. Quickly, boom, boom, boom. Here you go. Here's your thing. You're on table 8. Go down to the Battle Royal table 8. You go. Outstanding time. And on top of that, too, you're kind of right around everything. I didn't venture too far away just because I was there for HeroClix. And by the time I was done, I wanted to go sit in the hot tub and just relax. I didn't want to rush around. I didn't want to run through Memphis and do it half-assed. If I'm going to go down to Beale Street or do something like that, I want to give myself enough time and have the energy to go down there and actually enjoy myself and not be down there and be like, I'm tired. I really don't want to even be out of the hotel. So there were some nights, hell, I didn't even go for dinner. I would come back to the hotel and be like, oh, word, they're doing the free peanut butter and jelly thing. I'd go make 2 peanut butter and jellies and go sit in the atrium with some people and chill and just talk. And it was great. It was never a dull moment. There was never a time where I sat there and was like, you know what? I wasted my money. This wasn't worth my time. It wasn't worth my effort. It wasn't worth my money. There was never that time. Now, there was a time in the first day where I literally thought to myself, do I even want to continue playing HeroClix? Because my dice were so bad. I literally wanted to eat the entire bag of dice that I had because they were horrible. So Ellis says, how was the Nationals event different from others you've been to? This Worlds event, I've been to 2. This Worlds event was different from the last Worlds event. I've been to 2 Worlds. I've never been to the Nationals. I've never been to Origins or anything like that. But this event was personal. It was us. You would walk into the exhibition hall and you didn't have to worry about trying to dodge Magic players, or you didn't have to worry about dodging people who were trying to get to a panel or who were trying to go and see this or that. You walked in there and it was almost like a family gathering. You would see people you would know. You would talk to people that you would know. You would have laughs, and it didn't feel cold, if that makes sense. PAX last year was in a huge warehouse facility, it felt like, and it didn't feel very personal. Of course, you'd have people there that you would talk with, you would laugh about and stuff like that, but it didn't feel like this year's Worlds. This year's Worlds felt custom made and custom fitted to HeroClix and WizKids players, and it was outstanding. You can come in and go as you please. There was never I can't say enough good things about the actual exhibition hall. Now, there are going to be people who are going to say stuff like, well, it took them so long to get Worlds going. Worlds was, supposed to start at 10. It didn't start until I think like 11 or 11:30. But there also was, I think, 115 players, and all of their builds have to be verified. They have to be registered in the computer system. You have to go through all these steps to make sure that, because you have to make sure everything is right before you start, because if you don't and you overlook something, there's going to be that one person who's going to be like, they screwed up all the builds. This guy had an illegal build and that guy had an illegal build. So they really made sure that everything was smooth and everything was good to go. When will WizKids announce Worlds 2020? I don't know when they will announce Worlds 2020, but if I was a betting man, I would bet that it will be in Memphis next year, and it will probably be in this timetable, August, September, October, probably somewhere in that 3-month area. If I was a betting man, I would say that if the feedback that I'm giving is also the feedback that they were getting there, which I think it was, I think that we have possibly found our home for the Heroclix World Championship going forward. Like I said, they didn't run out of product. They didn't have to run all over the place to try and find product. They had enough storage space, from what I heard, that they could bring even extra product and didn't have to worry about stuff. There was a shuttle at the hotel that ran, I think, every 10 minutes, maybe 10 or 15 minutes from the hotel to the exhibition hall. I want to say it was every half an hour, but I know there were shuttles that ran every half an hour to the airport. But I think that the shuttles that were going from the hotel to the World Championship were going off more frequently. Also, it wasn't that bad of a walk. I walked it probably every morning. I would get up in the morning. I would walk over to the Shell station that was a block down. I would get my 2 rock stars and my bear claw, and then I would eat my breakfast on the way there and drink a rock star. And I was wearing a sweatshirt at the time because I'm a nut and I always like to wear sweatshirts just because they're comfortable to me. So I'm sure there are some people that are going to be like, yes, they had hot food in that Shell station too. So right across the street, and I know people probably didn't eat there. You're in Memphis, you're going for barbecue and things like that. But right across the street, if you were just feeling lazy and didn't feel like going anywhere, they had a KFC, a Checkers, and the gas station. And I can tell you right now, the gas station's food was probably better than the Checkers and the KFC. On top of that, there were barbecue places everywhere, and Uber Eats and DoorDash all delivered to the hotel. All you had to do was type in your hotel room number. They would come in, they'd confirm, hey, did you guys order something from this and that? Yep, we did. The person would bring it up. You'd have your food, and it was, I mean, there was more than one time where Bradley Wilson from Team Pusheen would come downstairs and he would not participate in board games because he was having a food baby, because he had eaten way too much barbecue and was literally just the most lethargic and just pathetic person I'd ever seen, because he had eaten himself into pain. That's how good the food was down there. Most of the time, you're waiting probably an hour to get that food. So if you're hungry, or you're going to be hungry, order it ahead of time, because it's going to probably take 55 to 65 minutes to get to you. It will still be hot, I'll tell you that, but it's going to take probably 50 to 55 to 65 minutes to get to you at the hotel. But also at the hotel, I think they had 2 or 3 different restaurants and bars every night. So I got there Thursday night. I ate. Thank you, John, by the way. He's from Maine. It's one of my New England guys that I talk to on Facebook. He was there, bought me dinner. It was awesome. Thank you again for that. I appreciate it. We sat there, and there was a guy who was playing an upright bass and another guy who was playing acoustic guitar, and they did Elvis and Johnny Cash covers and just Memphis country rock. the entire time we were down there, I watched Green Bay Packers beat up on the Chicago Bears. Go Pack, go! And we sat there and we ate a burger and we had some laughs and talked about Heroclix and talked about New England and stuff like that and had a good time. So you had that bar. I think you also had like 2 or 3 different restaurants that were actually inside the hotel. So if you didn't want to go anywhere, you could go sit down, eat, have a good time right there. Prices weren't super inflated where you're paying $50 or $60 a meal. So I think the burger that I had was like $14, $15 maybe, but it came with fries and it was outstanding. Everything was really good, and the people down there were really nice too. Everybody who worked at the hotel were outstanding. We did get a couple of weird looks because you had 2 different generations there. You had people who were coming to see Elvis, and then you had all of us that were there to play Heroclix Worlds. There were people one time, so someone was there for Graceland. Someone was there to go and see the museum and things like that. And I'm standing out in the I guess like the atrium area at the exhibition center, like the food court area, I guess you could say. And somebody was walking past it, and I could hear them talking to his wife. Hey, I wonder what this is. And he came right up to me, and I'm in New England. A lot of people don't. We're kind of brash, I guess you could say. Guy came right up to me and was like, "Hey, do you know what this is?" And I was like, "Yeah, this is the World Championships for Heroclix, Dice Masters, and Attack Wing. They're all 3 different games made by WizKids." I explained how Heroclix worked. It was like chess with superpowers and different things, did different stuff. And I said, it's free right now to go in. So if you want to go in and just walk around and look and observe the games being played, by all means, go in. And he grabbed his wife and just darted right in to go see what was going on. So we had people who would float in there just to look around and just to see what all the commotion was, what the hubbub was. Because you have to figure, too, there was 115 people just there playing for Worlds. There was probably another 80 to 90 people there just playing Battle Royals on top of Dice Masters players, on top of Attack Wing players. So there was a damn good crowd there. There was a very sizable crowd there. And it was, like I said, it was smooth. Now the stream, yes, you're probably never going, this is just me talking. I have no inside information whatsoever. You're probably never going to see a Team World streamed unless they can figure out a way to angle the camera so you can see all 6 players playing. So the way that they had done teams this year was they had 2 tables basically butted up against each other, and it went down all the way. They would sit you so that you were sitting next to your teammates, A, B, C, and then your opponents, A, B, C. And they grouped you in those pods, and they sat you there. So I do not think WizKids will want to be like, okay, so this table, the A players are going to go play in the front on the stream, and then B and C players, you're going to stay here and play. I don't think they're going to want to break up teams to do that. So, again, we did see some streaming on day 1. Day 2, from what I understood, there was technical difficulties. After I dug in a little more and heard some stuff, apparently the camera was overheating. So what they decided to do was they decided to not stream as much as they could so they could have the camera cool down and they could get it set up for the finals, which they did. And you got to see Robert Williams play Isaac in the championship. Yo, shout out to some of these guys that are making, the top 8, top 16. Will Gordon put out his top 10, and there were some people who were not even spoke of. Robert Williams, DJ Riggins made it up there. Lucas Van Hollen was up there. Goodness gracious, there was and every build, it wasn't like you were just playing the same Cosmic team. Every build was diverse in some way. Were there about 2/3 Cosmic teams like I counted for? Probably. You could probably say that there is 2/3 Cosmic teams, but I also said that you're going to see a lot of diverse builds inside of Cosmic, and you did. It wasn't just Kobik Trader, whatever. It was Astronomer with Gardner and Q and Traylene, and then you had Gardner with Nightbringer and Astronomer and Unseen, and then there was just so many different kinds of you had like Jeremy Walters, the guy I room with. He had no sideline whatsoever. He played Ultra Chase Thanos. So and that was it. I don't think he played special objects either. So all of those elders who got that extra click didn't get it. They all started off on click 1. So you had some builds like that didn't even have sidelines or special objects or special terrain. We did see Medusa teams. We did see Vulture teams. We saw Mystical. I believe George and Jason Alvey both ran Mystical teams very well. A little different from the one that I played, and they rolled probably a whole lot better than the one that I played. We saw Ethos Black was playing the Blackbird and an X-Men team. We saw other X-Men teams. You name it, people were playing it. There was a very big, but again, 2/3 probably Cosmic, but all different kinds of Cosmic. We saw Tyler Spees make another top 8 with Monsters. So his team isn't, people who are saying, oh, it's just another Shredder team. It's just a different variation of a Shredder team. It's not a variation of a Shredder team. Not one bit whatsoever. Shredder was gone. He put Skeets in there. Is it Skeets? Screets? I don't know. I got a couple over there. Put him in there. Did great with it. I don't think it, again, almost the same exact team he ran at last Worlds, almost went back-to-back with monster teams. So you saw that being played. Skeets. I thought it was Skeets. But then I was thinking about the little stupid fairy that's on Ultra Chase, and I think that's also I think that's Screets. So whatever. They need to diversify their names. But yeah, Skeets. Also, it's funny. It's Skeets. So I was liking the various teams throughout the event. Cosmic was there was 6 or 7 or 8 different versions of Cosmic. There was so much Cosmic, but they were all different diverse builds of Cosmic. So and again, Dan still ran Unimind, but ran it a little differently than he did. There were still full point Uniminds being played, even with the threat of Kobik Trader out there. I've only been to, my sampling size is very small. I've only been to 2 Worlds, and I can tell you that this year's Worlds felt better than last year's Worlds. And I don't think it's because of the city. I love Philadelphia. If we could have it in Philadelphia again, I would have it in Philadelphia again. But the layout and everything that was done in Memphis is probably what they wanted done in Philadelphia in PAX, and for whatever reasons, it didn't gel properly. Now, that being said, WizKids is going to still be at PAX this year. They're not running the World Championships there, but they are still going to be at PAX this year. They're still going to be holding, I think, some side events and some battle royals and things like that. So WizKids still is at PAX. From what I understand, they're still there. I think they may even still have convention exclusives for purchase, and they may even be running some sort of an event in battle royals there. I know it for a fact. I know people who are going to PAX to play in WizKids events, but also to play in some other side events as well. So PAX Unplugged, WizKids is still there. It's not the World Championship. I think Memphis will be the home for WizKids going forward. It was just way too damn smooth for them to pull out and be like, you know what, that's not what we wanted. It was fantastic. I can't, if I were to sit here and try and find things that was wrong with it, it would be just me trying to nitpick and be one of those people that is never happy with anything WizKids does, because there are some out there. And I would just sit here and I would literally I'd be grasping at straws trying to find, well, they could have done this. They could have had more stuff on display for us to look at. They really didn't have much previews in the case, which they didn't. They had enough up there. They had some con exclusive stuffs in their case to show you. They also had, what did they have? They had the WWE clicks. They had the Mix Max challenge that they actually ended up breaking open and playing a little bit with and breaking down how the special terrain worked and stuff. Again, you can see that on the WizKids site. It's Scott D'Agostino playing against Jason Collins. But also Troll and Toad was there. Their prices, super inflated. I will say that. And if anybody from Troll and Toad is watching, I apologize if you think that that's a cheap shot. But when people are bringing you their phones and showing you, hey, you have it listed on your website $40 cheaper. Why is it $40 more expensive here and you don't have an answer for that? You're trying to price gouge people. And it didn't go over, I think, as well. And maybe hopefully Troll and Toad will learn from that and they won't be trying to charge a Thor and Mjolnir for like $170 when they had it on their website for like 120 or whatever it was, or 130. So yeah, there was a little bit of price inflation from Troll and Toad, but they also still had product there. They had a bunch of singles. If you were looking for something or you lost something last minute, you had the opportunity to buy it from Troll and Toad because they did have a display case there. And they were also giving away free string bags, which I ended up getting one. It's somewhere in the pile of stuff over there that I am just putting off going through at this very moment. So if I were to have suggestions for you, book your blocks as soon as WizKids says they're doing it. If they're offering you free stuff, or if they're offering you a package, buy it because it's probably worth the money and then some. And if you're hesitant or you have any doubt that it's this or that, I had no bad experiences there. Well, that's a lie. I think I had one battle royal where one of the people who I was playing against, it was kind of, they were a little, I think, short with, and just kind of seemed like they were, I don't know, a little on edge or aggressive. And it was like, hey man, like I get that it's brand new product and you just need to tone it down a little maybe. You take a deep breath, step away from the edge. Holy cow, guy. What are you so angry for? We just started. Slow down. So what do you guys have? I see there's 10 of you out there. What questions do you have about Worlds? What questions do you have about anything in particular about the exhibition hall, about how things were ran? What do you want to know? I got some answers hopefully for you. Scott D'Agostino, WizKids will not be running Heroclix events at PAX. Ooh, we'll be featuring our board games and RPG miniature lines. Okay, so there you go. You heard it straight from Scott D'Agostino. I am incorrect once again. So I will have to put that out there that WizKids will not be running Heroclix events at PAX, which is contrary to what I had heard before. So I will have to message some people who were planning on going there to try and play some Heroclix. So Scott, obviously there will be a WizKids booth. Will you be selling the con exclusives there at all? Or will this be strictly just for your board game line and things like that? We'll wait to see what he says about that. So if anybody has any other questions about Worlds or anything like that, okay, so they will be selling the con exclusives. They won't be running events, so you will not have battle royals or side events or anything along those lines, but you will have the opportunity, if you are going to PAX for any other reason, to actually be able to buy some of the con exclusives. I'm going to assume, Scott, that you're probably not going to be packed out to the gills with your con exclusives like you were for Nats or for Worlds. So if I had a suggestion to make then for that, if you're going to be at PAX and you're needing to or wanting to buy exclusives or cons, you would probably want to get there early because they're probably not packing all of their back stock to haul there, because it sounds like they're going to be wanting to push some of their other games like Bamunto. I got to play that game before. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's called Bamunto. It's a pretty good game made by WizKids. And it was fun. Aries, very important World's question. Which Elvis did you select for your... So yes, there was that as well. You could... So your television... I don't think we turned the television on once, to be honest with you, Kenji. But you could... tell him to go wreck house. For those that don't know, Aaron Cantu's son is ranked in like the top 20, I think, in North America for Pokemon. So, shout out to the little dude. Tell him to go smash it up. It's I want to play Smash Up and get to it. Yes, Bamunto. I was correct. I actually got to play with Kenny Pena and Kenji Kenshiro, and it was 25. There you go. Good for him, man. Tell him to keep pushing, get to that North American Championship. But yes, Bamunto, super fun. If you're looking for a very simple game with colorful animal tiles, then Bamunto is the way to go. Very fun game. It can also be very cutthroat too, because you want to make sure you're scoring points and you want to make sure others aren't scoring points. So you're trying to knock them on the map. Oh, it's a very awesome game. I do believe Kenji is going to PAX as well. So if you're there, you'll probably see him on the Exceed tables, trying to Chun-Li the hell out of someone. Who are you playing in your Exceed? Need a little seltzer. Woo! So yeah, so to answer, I can't give up my secrets. Oh, can't give up his secrets yet because we probably have some guys who are actually watching that are going to play Exceed. So, but to answer your question about the television, I don't even think we turned on the television, and I'm more of a Johnny Cash fan than I am an Elvis fan. But if I had to pick, I would probably have to pick like the more like jailhouse rock type of Elvis than like the whole Hawaii Elvis. I don't know. I was more of a fan of his, like, I guess what they would call his rock more than his like blues type of, and then like his Hawaiian style. I'm all set with that. But yeah, and if you're just a fan of seeing really cool, if you're into museums or seeing stuff like that, I would suggest going to Graceland as well. There was probably like 8 or 9 exhibits you could walk through, and you could see people who were inspired by Elvis. They had an outfit from Buddy Holly that was inspired by Elvis. You had Johnny Cash. You had a whole array of stuff from Kiss. You had Elton John. You had The Rock. There was an outfit there that The Rock wore that was Elvis inspired. Kid Rock, the Pistol Annies. Just so many different artists that were inspired by him. And you could walk through these museum type things because it's not really like a museum. It's almost like if you've ever been to an outlet mall and you walk along and you see all the different department store type things, the museums almost felt like that. You're walking along this and you could just pop in and see this whole little section of Elvis's life and things that he had. He had a whole section there that was his cars. And so you got to see like his John Deere tractor. You got to see like his little dune buggy. And if I'm telling you right now, I might have one kicking around somewhere up here. No, I think it's buried. But if you have the dune buggy from the was it the AI set that had the dune buggies in it and the spider buggy? No, I don't remember. It might have been. But if you have the dune buggy, like in the spider buggy, his dune buggy looked just like that. It was black. You could walk through and just see all kinds of stuff. You can go to his house where he lived, and you could go and you can take in that. You can go and look inside of his airplane. If you do go and you look at where his cemetery plot is, that's the one thing that my grandmother told me is a lie at Graceland, because Elvis actually is not buried there. So if you're thinking you're going to go visit the gravesite of Elvis, I have news for you. You're not. You're going to see a fake gravesite that they want you to believe is Elvis, but Elvis is actually buried someplace else. And I will believe my grandmother 10 times out of 10, because she has probably everything you could possibly imagine Elvis. Did you have a favorite Battle Royal team that you got to play? If I had to pick one Battle Royal team that I enjoyed to play, there were 2 that stand out to me. One was I got to play Mojo, and Mojo in Battle Royal setting is nuts, because every time somebody misses an attack, you get a board token. So there are some instances where you are just stacking board tokens, and every single turn you can potentially just move anywhere on the map, or you can take. So the way it works, you take 2 board tokens off, and you can move anywhere onto the map as a free action. You can only activate this once, so you can move anywhere on the map as a free action, or you can make an attack as a free action, taking off 2 board tokens. And there were times where I had upwards of 5 and 6 board tokens, but I just couldn't take them off quick enough. So Mojo is a sneaky good figure. He had a big bullseye on him, and every time someone sidestepped, he got to move as well. So he's sneaky mobile for being someone who's not very mobile, and he can attack a lot if you're missing rolls, which I did a lot, and apparently some of the people on my map did as well. Let me see what as we got over here. What are some of the most uncommon teams you played against at Worlds, and what did you play? What I tried to play at Worlds was I tried to play a mystical team. I played Black Adam, Sheriff Strange. I played Daredevil, a Tri-Sentinel, and I played King Britain, the 25-point King Britain from the Earth X starter set, because I was planning on seeing Kobik a lot more than what I did. And what I should have done was I should have played Alex Wilder instead of King Britain to get in, because Alex Wilder, in my opinion, played my team better in the last chance qualifier than it did probably for Worlds. So hindsight is always 2020. I would have probably played Alex Wilder at 25 points to get into Worlds. And then once I actually qualified, I would have probably flipped him out for King Britain, just to make sure that I don't have double tokens on Black Adam and things like that. Also, I played the Sprite ID card and the Kitty Pryde from Regenesis. I played the Beast student ID card and the 40-point Beast from Regenesis. I played the Cyclops Headmaster and student ID card with Super Rare Cyclopses. And I played the Jean Grey student ID card with the Chase Jean Grey. I also played the Remaker Ring for Black Adam to give him poison and also give him shape change. I played the Venom Harness on Daredevil so he could play very aggressive. And at times I could have a 13 or 14 attack with a 4 or 5 damage, which still didn't help me one bit. And I played the 5-point Invisible Jet as well. So if I was able to win a map roll, as you can see at the beginning of the beginning of this live stream, I only won 1 map roll in my 3 rounds of Swiss, because that Invisible Jet would block off a section of the underground caverns and kind of bottleneck teams to go a certain direction. So, if I had to change up one thing, I'd probably play Alex Wilder for the prob and Outwit and Perplex, and it probably would have done me a little better in the last chance qualifier, and then I would have switched back over to King Britain at 25 points when I played in Worlds, but I didn't qualify, so I played Battle Royals instead. He is there, just not at the grave site. Yes, he is there somewhere, but he is not at Graceland. Also, I played my other favorite Battle Royal team that I played. I played Magneto, the 2x2 Magneto with, again, the 75-point Cable. I also had Callisto that I just kind of put next to Magneto because she had leadership. So I tucked her away to just pull tokens off of Magneto and keep him attacking. I also then had a Freedom Fighter and an Assassin's Guild. And those 25 points right there probably KO'd more than anything I had done the entire weekend. I had the Freedom Fighter on the Blades and Willpower dial. I tossed him out there with the free TK from Cable, and I hit and Blades someone for 5. And then next turn, I pushed him and Blades and hit someone for 5 again, and I forewent the Willpower and just pushed him to death and got him off the map so no one would score him because no one actually technically dealt him damage. And then the Assassin's Guild, same thing with her. I moved her up. I charged and bladed someone. I think I dealt 4 damage and KO'd them. And then one of the other people who was playing on the map quaked. And Jason was like, you can knock people back with that if you would like. And the person was like, I think I will. And they knocked them in a direct diagonal adjacent to my Assassin's Guild, which I then pushed and dealt 5 damage to the Gambit that was quaked and sniped those points as well. But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of good Battle Royale games. I didn't finish well in a lot of them. I placed second in the one that mattered. I played with Antonio from Team Pusheen, and we placed 1-2. And at the time, we had a Chase Sebastian Shaw on the map. We had the Storm Colossal Super Rare Prime, and then they also dropped a Superman Prime for prizing as well. So we had some tough decisions to make, but I'm lucky that I placed second and was able to get my Superman Prime that I wanted. Also, big shout out to WizKids. I forgot to mention this too. So they opened up sales to other con exclusive things. They had Supreme Intelligence there. They had the Punisher van. They had Felix Faust. They had Doctor Strange. They had the Batman with the bomb, the Batman with the shark. They had the black and white lantern packs. They had a bunch of old con exclusive stuff. So on the last day, what they were doing for prize support was not only were they putting the 2019 BoxCon exclusives out there, they were putting 2 Mandarin rings out there. They were putting either a Proximus Midnight Spear, an Exospecs, or a Corvus Glaive out there. But then they were also dropping 2 of the older con exclusives out there as well. So the last day, I had packed my bag. It was packed to the gills. I couldn't get any more in there. And I decided, you know what? I think I'm going to play one more Battle Royale. And I went over there, and that was the Superman Prime Battle Royale that I got to play with one of my teammates. It was outstanding. It was fun. Frenzy. Don't sleep on Frenzy. She is fantastic. The one good thing about Leap Climb that I've always talked about, I got to do it twice because she can move. She has 9 movement in Leap Climb. And if she moves 5 squares or less, she can use Close Combat Expert as free, basically. And so I was able to attack on another level because she has the Leap Climb. So that was awesome. Any thoughts on the Yeet into the Void TK versus Objects ruling? We'll get to that one in a second because that ruling, I believe, is dog shit. So what the last Brian Galley, can you please break that down a little bit more for me on what exactly that means? So somebody who may not know can read that, and then I will go ahead and explain my take on it. But so that last game, we had the Storm Super Rare Prime, Superman Prime con exclusive, a Supreme Intelligence was dropped, a Doctor Strange was dropped, 2 different Mandarin rings was dropped, an Exospecs was dropped. We had the Sebastian Shaw Chase out there, and they were just dropping Punisher vans and stuff. And so the last day, they went nuts and they swagged out the Battle Royale tables, and people were having a blast. I didn't have enough room to jam. If I had room, I would have probably played in 2 or 3 Battle Royals that last day. I didn't have any more room in my carry-on or anything to jam more than what I grabbed in that one last Battle Royal. So for what Brian Galley is talking about, he was one of the judges that was at Worlds. There was a controversial ruling that took place. Apparently, as there always is in any big event, there is a ruling that has to be made on the fly and or something that may or may not come up. Brian just posted, so you can make an object attack without having a target, causing the object to be KO'd. So you can TK an indestructible object into nothingness. And that exactly was the ruling, is that you could you can make a range object or close object action. I believe it was a range object action with a special. So basically, if you called in like Jean Grey, she could use her free TK to make an object attack with, say, your octopus arms. It was ruled that you don't actually have to have a target for said range action, and you can just basically blow that object to oblivion. If all of you are as lost as I am, that's because the ruling doesn't make sense. So we're always taught that if I were to running shot somebody and I were to choose them as my target, or I would have to actually have a target, I guess, to actually make an attack. You can charge and move half of your movement, but then just decide not to make the attack because you don't have a target. So what the hell are we doing with this TK now? So we've been told that you can running shot, but you don't make the attack because there's no target. You can charge, but you can move half your movement, but you don't make the attack because there's no target. So why are we able to TK an object in an object attack when there's no target and destroy the object? What are we using the object against then? It's two kind of correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, but isn't that kind of two different contradictory things that we're being told? You can go ahead and running shot, but you can't make the attack because there's no target. So why am I able to TK with an object if I don't have a target? You need a target to make an attack, but the ruling is you don't need a target to take the action. Okay, cool. But if I'm taking the action, then how am I using the object? So I can make an object action without a legal target and destroy the object? That makes no sense. That just kind of it seems counterproductive to me. It doesn't work. What are we doing? I get that. I get that the action should just resolve because there's no target. So then explain to me why the object is being destroyed then, because there is no target. So the action shouldn't even take place. Am I going insane to think that, or is this about helmets? Okay. I'm guessing we have just a troll. So we're just gonna see you later. See you later, helmet. Yeah, I get shape change, but it's not shape change though. What is your take on this ruling then? I don't think you should be able to do it. That's just me personally, because you're picking up an object and you're using it in an action that is illegal because there's no actual target. What is your take on the rule? What do you think should be the ruling for that? Because me personally, I don't think you should be able to do it. Okay, you go through all the steps. Okay, I'm going to make a range action. I'm going to make a telekinesis range action with this object. Okay, I'm going to check for targets. I have no targets. Okay, I can't perform the action. Therefore, my action should be done, and the object should not be used. I mean, I get that too, but it's a loophole then, because you're making an action that doesn't actually really happen. It's literally like you're just taking the octopus arms and you're just eating them for 3 damage and saying see you later or whatever. You're taking something that's indestructible and you're destroying it. It's a loophole of the rules. Okay, so this object is indestructible unless I use it in a range action. Okay, so I'm going to use it in a range action against nobody and destroy it, hence making the object now destructible and not indestructible, correct? It just seems like it's a stupid loophole inside of the game, and that's just something that should be looked at and corrected. To be able to do this telekinesis action, you need to have a valid target, in my opinion. So it's a loophole in the game to get around the indestructible keyword. So I don't think it should be allowed. It goes against the spirit of the game, I would say. We've heard that lingo before. Spirit of the game. I feel like that goes against the speed. I think that goes against the rule of an indestructible object. It's so now does that make Cable, the 75-point Cable from the new X-Men the animated set, super valuable because he can free telekinesis every single turn? So I could TK him. I could TK him across the board. I could then move him, and then I could make his free object action and just eat someone's object. Correct? So I think he's at a 10 movement, so I could TK him 6. I could then run him 10, and then I could yank an object from another 6 squares away. So we're talking about what? Almost a full map range. Oh, nope, you are correct. My bad. Okay, but then I could take someone like Voyager, though. I could take someone like Voyager, carry him all the way across the map, and then he could eat something. Yeah, I see your little... I get it. Yeah, shut up, Aaron. That shows you how often I use TK. Not that often. Haha, spirit of the game. If they cared about that, 300 Modern Limited should be their main format. But what we're also seeing other formats pop up, again, to bring up something that happened at Worlds. We saw the Skirmish. So, from what I gathered for Skirmish, we're still talking about telekinesis in this ruling too. So if you have more to weigh in on, please feel free to voice your opinion. We can have a conversation about it. We can go back and forth. I'm loving the conversation right now, and people interacting and having a voice about certain things that have happened. But to go to the Skirmish that happened this weekend as well. So there's block numbers in the middle of a battle royal map. So you go around from what I saw, and if there's anybody here who actually played in a skirmish or something like that, and I'm explaining it incorrectly, then please, by all means, let me know. So you went around and you rolled dice for, I believe, how many for spots on the map, and then you basically kind of almost snake drafted and placed your figures in these, I guess you could call them like drop zones. So they're gridded out by numbers. You roll 2 dice, and they're special dice because obviously the numbers. And then you would put like an action token there. So that portal, I guess you could say that portal was active. And then you went around in circles, and you placed, each person got to place their figures. First turn, there is kind of a first turn immunity almost, but it's -2 to your damage. So you are able to just get right into battle and to attack each other, but it's -2 to your damage. So the way that this is scored also is I don't believe it's scored by actual the points you would KO someone by. Every time you deal a click of damage, you get a point. And I believe, Brian, you can correct me if I'm wrong, if you KO somebody, you get, I think, an additional 2 points. So at the end of the game, you would tally up who has the most points by clicks of damage that you have done. Not so much the amount of... No points for a KO. Okay, thank you. So you just get points for clicks of damage that you do. And when the time is called, you tally up how many points you have based on how many clicks of damage you did. And whoever has the most clicks of damage at the end of the round has won. I think it's very interesting. It's a new, fresh take. It's almost... And all right, so follow with me here. This is going to seem weird when I say this. And first to 20 points wins or highest score at the time. Yeah, so if you hit 20, you win. Bada boom, game's over, good to go. So follow with me here. This is going to be kind of more of an outlandish style of take on this, but it almost sounds to me that it is a holy hell, a PUBG style of miniatures gaming. So when you play these like Fortnite and PUBG and things like that, you're dropped into an open map. It's almost the same concept here. At the beginning of the game, you all roll and you basically open up squares that can drop players in them. You go around then almost snake draft style. You just go around and you place spots where you want to place your characters. So it's almost like a randomized map drop, kind of like a PUBG or kind of like a Fortnite. You then begin the game right in the middle of action, and there you are. So now you have to. It's a different take on critical thinking. We are so attuned to, you start on each sides of the map and you work your way towards each other and you sidestep and you this and you that and you duck in, you duck out, you do whatever. Now you start the game and you're already smack dab in the middle. Now you have to think, oh shit, where do I want to go? Do I want to retreat out a little bit and duck behind here? Or do I want to just go straight in? Because it doesn't matter if I lose characters. It matters if I'm dealing damage and I'm gaining clicks of damage to my tally pool. So do I try and preserve some figures so I can actually deal some more damage later on? Or do I just go straight in guns blazing and try and deal as much damage as possible right away and just go for it? So it's almost like a randomized, like all the video games we see, a randomized style of dropping your figures right in and just going straight into battle. It was interesting to see, and I hope that the feedback that WizKids got was good, and they try and push this as another play style that we can do going forward. We've got some people who are weighing in here. Marcus Zilla sounds like I would enjoy that format. Michael Boleski, PUBG is a fair comparison. My squad's been playing this random drop style game for years now. It's great, really changes how you build your teams. Michael also says figs that can stand on their own shine. Hydra teams die quick. Marcus then says, hell yeah, get in and roll some dice. Marcus also then yells, Leroy Jenkins, that shit. Yes, for those that don't know that one, you should probably go to YouTube and type in Leroy Jenkins, and at least he has chicken. So it looks like and sounds like it's a fair comparison that this style of miniatures game is very much trying to grasp onto and miniaturize that PUBG, that Fortnite style of drop in and get to playing right away. It looked interesting. I didn't have much time to just stand over it because it was the last day, and I was again, I had a flight on Sunday. I was trying to get in some games. Glad to hear enthusiasm for this. It was a blast to see it played. When I was there and watched it, one of our local guys, Brian, knows him. His name is Kapu. He's from Massachusetts. He was chosen. He won one of the raffles and got to play. He actually tied for first. He had 11 points to the other person's 11 points. He lost in the roll-off, unfortunately. But from what I did see, is it was intense. You just basically dropped right into these maps, and you gotta go. You gotta go quick. You gotta make decisions, and it's not like that slow-paced, okay, I'm going to work up, I'm going to hide my guys here, I'm going to barrier, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You're right in the skirmish, so that's why it's called it, and you're just playing. So, yeah, they had that. I'm trying to think of, Brian, what am I missing here, bud? We had the streams. WizKids also, while we were there, was doing testimonials. So I was chosen to go up and talk and answer some questions for WizKids myself. When I hear something about those and those testimonials going up, I know for a fact Paris Gordon did one. Tony Rodriguez did one while I was there as well. Jason Osborne, good to see you. One of my guys here in Connecticut. So I was able to do one of those. So if it is posted up, I'm sure it'll be on the WizKids page. I will make sure to share it to the 2 Clicks from KO page and around our social media network as well. But yeah, I can't say enough good things about it. There are some events you go to, and if this happened last year and I played and my dice were as poor as they were last year, I would have probably been more upset. But because I was in a new place in Memphis and just the atmosphere was good, I didn't get down on myself as much as I thought I was going to when my dice completely Kapu enjoyed skirmish play. I would have gotten down on myself completely, and I would have probably just imploded. And I didn't do that in Memphis, even though I wanted to, because there are just some times when your dice go cold. You can play and I said this before, I'll say it again. You can play your team how you've practiced it 100 times, and you can play it flawlessly. And if your dice just don't want to cooperate, they aren't going to cooperate. I felt bad. I walked over, and Ed Shelton was playing Kenji, and Kenji was playing his Gardner team, and he was moving things around, and he was doing all the right moves. And then I walked over there, and I'm watching him for like 10 minutes, and I watch him roll. I think out of 5 rolls, he rolled 3 critical misses and a 3. And I just looked at it and I was like, wow. Like, wow. He was able to probability control out of some of them, but I literally just sat there and watched it happen. And you watch him play his team. And Kenji is an assassin. Kenji is a cerebral player. There isn't any angle or any calculation he hasn't looked at or hasn't done. He's practiced his team. He knows what it can do. He knows every trick in it. And to see him pull it all off and to do it exactly how he wants to do it, and then for him to roll, and this was a sequence too. He rolls critical miss. I'm gonna prob it. He rolls a 3. I'm gonna prob it. He rolls into a critical miss. And to see that, you're just like, it is one of the most gut-wrenching things to see because you've been on that end, and I was on that end. Kenji was one of my teammates for Team Worlds the first day, and they all just watched my dice just fail me time and time again. So to sit there on the other side of it and watch it, it's gut-wrenching. It's horrible. And it can, I don't know, it can just leave a really bad taste in your mouth when you know that you played your team right and you know you remembered. I remembered to do the prob. I remembered to put my this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and then you go to do it all, and it's just, it's, ugh. Marcus says, in all seriousness, I'm glad this worked out well. It seems I like the fact of WizKids having a big major event on its own, away from a con. It seems like things would run smoother and no crowding, and that's exactly what it was. It was very smooth. Like I said, it didn't feel like you were fighting through people. If you wanted to just walk out and sit and be away from people, you could. If you wanted to go outside and get some air, you could. And it was off. It was in Memphis, but off the beaten path enough to where it wasn't like where you were at PAX where you walk outside to get away from people and there's still 1,000 people right there on you. You can walk away, you can gather yourself, you can take a breath and just not have 100 people still just mashed around you. Brian G, it was a lot easier setting this up too without tripping over every other company at a con. Yes, that also too is you got to set up the tables the way you wanted them. And you didn't have to worry about people screwing that up. Stephen Clark, so true. 4 misses of a 6 cost me a win against former world champion Tyler Spies in round 4 of Swiss, but it was still a great match for a great weekend. Brian G says, not that I have any sort of inside info, but I'm sure they're doing this again. And I've already talked about that too at the beginning of this video. I said if I was a betting man, we are going to see WizKids do the World Championships at Memphis at least next year, and hopefully I'm hoping for years to come. And if I was a betting man, I would say that they're probably going to do it in this time span, probably anywhere in a 4-month span. So August, September, October, November, somewhere in that chunk of time. And they will probably give us much, much more notice this time around to get us that information. Hopefully they do the room blocks again, and they continue to try to do the trend of what they did this year. Give us fresh takes on Heroclix and different play styles. Hopefully the stream works out a little better. I can't say enough good things. The community is fantastic. There always seems that when you go to a big major event, there's always some sort of controversy or some sort of like bad blood or something controversial that happens. We didn't hear anything. The only thing controversial, I guess, that would happen this year is what Brian G has already talked about the ruling of poofing indestructible objects. We had that goof last year where location bonuses were allowed during Team Worlds. They apologized for it. Yep, I made a mistake. It's my bad. I'm going to own it, but we're going to continue playing Team Worlds that way because I've already ruled on it. The stream should be better. The camera was damaged and not cooling. Yeah, I told them about that too, that it just wasn't cooling down and it was overheating. So they decided to let it cool so they could at least have a stream of the finals. But yeah, I mean, the sky's the limit right now. As long as we, the players, decide to continue to back WizKids and continue to have them support us and for us to support them, I think that we are in a very, very good spot right now. And we can finally have what we wanted, where we have our own convention. We have our own world championships. We don't have to worry about sharing spaces with Warhammer or War Machine or any of those stupid card games. Sorry, Kenji, I know you like Exceed, but it's just us. It's Clix, it's Dice Masters, it's Attack Wing, it's WizKids under one roof without having to share space with anybody else. It was fantastic. Capu says, I loved it. Turn-based Heroclix with my astronomer with my power gem. Yeah, that's pretty. And that's what it was too. It was also 200 point modern. So that was kind of cool. You only drop in 200 points and you go nuts from there. Marcus says also Critical Hits Customs has all your bystander pog needs with the Connolly's. If you got a Miles and Gwen figure, laugh out loud. Of course, shameless plug for Critical Hits Customs to jump in there. But they also do make great things. Also, I saw a bunch of Jeremiah Peterson trays at Worlds to the point where I almost am going to break down and get one. I am still pushing against it. 200 3-figure minimum, 5-figure maximum on Skirmish. So I mean, I could play 5 Kleinstock brothers, right? I mean, I could do that. So that's interesting. A lot of stuff there I didn't know about because I wasn't really involved with the Skirmish, but I'm glad that you guys are throwing the information out there for people to read. I could 5 Kleinstock brothers. That would be. I mean, they're a little shallow, but if you have 5 of them out there, you're getting impervious. You're getting a +2 to your damage. Don't sleep on the Kleinstock brothers. I got 5 of them right now. I want to play them. But yeah, also I forgot. Yeah, the what I pulled, what I ended up getting. I think I ended up coming home with 2 of the orange Proteuses, a Sasquatch, a Wendigo, an Exodus, the Rachel Summers Phoenix, a bunch of rares. Frenzy's amazing. I got Morph. I got my Superman Prime. I got the Storm. I got the Rogue with the Asgardian Rogue. The Bombshell Raven. Ambrose Chase. Who am I missing here? I got an extra Power Woman. And also, too, is Orange Proteus is the shit. Yes, he is. Well, that's why I grabbed the one, I believe, on day 1 or 2, and then forgot that I had grabbed one and grabbed another one thinking that I still needed it. And then I got to the hotel room and I had 2. So I was like, okay. I'm going to obviously have to try and move one of those. I didn't know if I had grabbed the green one or just the orange one. I made a mistake. But yeah, does anybody else have any questions about Worlds? Any comments? Anything they want me to talk about before I sign off? It's almost been an hour and 25 minutes. I've been just yakking at you. It's been great having you all here. Very interactive, talking about good, positive things for a change in Heroclix, and not people wanting me to talk about all of the drama and stuff that happens in the Heroclix world, because in any community there is always things to be spoken about. So it's nice to be sitting here and talking to. I've got 14 people here right now. I'm not sure of all who is here. I don't know if I can click on it and find out who is here. I'm sure if I click on something, I'm going to break it like I just did right now. It looks like I just shrunk my screen for some reason, somehow. Oh, there it goes. Holy cow. I'm pushing buttons and breaking stuff. Marcus, expect a challenge when those WWE clicks drop. Man, you already know. My players are going to get sick and tired of playing me because I'm just going to be just doing Macho Man voices the whole time. Like, yeah, I'm going to come across the map. I'm going to snap into a Slim Jim. Yeah, hit you for 4 damage. Yeah, Bonesaw is ready. Yeah. Do the hands and stuff, the crazy hands. Maybe I'll start wearing the glasses and just having like tassels and stuff off of me. I don't know. I'm excited for WWE Heroclix. I am very, very excited. Oh, I'm putting something. Oh, I'm putting someone through a table on release day. I don't know. You're gonna try and put someone through a table? I would pay. I have to. Ugh. So DJ Riggin gave me a chop on I think day 1. I gotta find whoever has that video to post it, because I'm not gonna lie. It's a good chop. I took it like a champ. I'm not gonna toot my own horn or anything, but I took a full on chop from DJ like a man, and man, I'm gonna tell you right now, it was loud. It was loud. It was a good one. It was a professional chop. I will say that. It stung for a little bit. Not gonna lie. Had a little sauce on it. So as soon as I can find that video and someone can send me that video, I'll try and get it posted up and get that thing going through the interwebs. But it was a good time. So if nobody has anything left to talk about, nobody has any other questions about Worlds or anything of that nature, it's been almost an hour and a half. Just feel that's air job putting people through a table. I'm gonna try. I tried. That's a lie. I was gonna try and find some place to let me do the dishes, but the hotel was just way too nice, and I didn't want to make an ass of myself or of our first year being in Memphis to go like knocking on windows and being like, hey, can I come back there and do dishes? And I didn't stray far enough outside of the hotel at like a bar or something to actually get somewhere. So I'm hoping to go to the Worlds again next year, potentially. If I do, you can bet that I will be doing dishes somewhere. I know my fiance has been talking about wanting to come with me to Worlds as well because she wants to visit Memphis and go to Beale Street and go and check out all that stuff. So if she does, you can bet that I will probably make an ass of myself on Beale Street and try to do dishes there somewhere. Fun things on the way with WWE for sure. Most definitely. With that being said, there's 14 of you here. I appreciate anybody and everybody who stopped through and had a conversation with me tonight and talked about Heroclix Worlds and just talked about Heroclix in general. I appreciate everyone in the Heroclix community for an outstanding weekend. Thank you to WizKids. Hopefully there are some of the WizKids employees who are still here. MVP of my Battle Royals definitely was not me. Definitely, like I mentioned it before, Freedom Fighters and Assassins Guilds were pretty bomb. Mojo was good. I'm trying to think of the one I won. I had the Magneto. The one I came in second, I had Frenzy and some other. I had Frenzy and I had a Bastion, the Bastion Colossal. He couldn't just get up there. Frenzy did most of the heavy lifting for that. So anyways, thank you to WizKids for putting on the event. You guys did a great job. Special thank you to the people that I actually know who work for WizKids. So thank you to Kenny Pena and Sky D'Agostino and everybody else who may or may not be watching from WizKids. Thank you to all of the amazing volunteers who spent their time for an entire weekend from 9 o'clock in the morning till sometimes almost 10, 11 o'clock at night, organizing play, answering hard questions, standing the entire time, running up and down aisles, trying to get the people to answer questions to keep things running smoothly. Without the volunteers, we would not have Worlds and we would not have anybody there to help us along with this. WizKids themselves wouldn't be able to run up and down the aisles to answer the questions without the volunteers there. We probably don't have Worlds because I know The one or two judges that WizKids has isn't going to be able to go all over the place and do battle royals and answer questions for Worlds. So thank you to the volunteers. Thank you to everybody who went there and made it an awesome experience, who came up to me and said hello. They enjoyed the videos that I do, that they enjoyed me just talking nonsensically for minutes and hours at a time. Without you guys, I wouldn't be sitting here in front of my laptop doing this. And also a big thank you to my fiance for putting up with me and pushing me to do more and more content like this. Without her, I wouldn't be doing dishes videos because she told me that it could be something that's outstanding, and it's led to me having the opportunity to sit here and talk with you guys at 8:30 at night about my experience in Memphis, Tennessee, a place that I never thought I would go, especially to play in Worlds. So with that being said, if you guys want to see me more and do more Ask Aries, you can message us at 2 Clicks from KO on our Facebook page. You guys can go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube page here and follow us here. So when we do live videos like this one, you will be notified. So hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to get our notifications. You can also message me at Facebook on my Aries Edge account, or you can message or you can email me at AriesEdge2626@gmail.com. I'm always around to answer questions or talk Heroclix, so do not hesitate to message me about anything that you have questions about, or if I can find out for you. So with that being said, thank you as always. This is Ask Aries. This is 2 Clicks from KO. May all of your rolls be way better than mine were at Worlds, because they sucked.